Hello, welcome. It has been like pretty much a year, I want to say, to the day that I did my first tattoo tour. It is very much overdue for an update because I've had many more tattoos done since then. It was like a little bit of a goal, I guess, for me this year to get more tattooed, or since the last tattoo tour I really got like the bug to fill out more of my areas. As I did before, I'll start from the top down. I'll start with this arm again, and yeah, then I have a lot more to talk about because my legs are a little bit more covered this time as well. So first up, on my shoulder here I have this shooting star, which I had done by Chive. She's done a few of mine so far, and I am truly so obsessed with this placement, like how this just falls over the shoulder. I love anything star related anyways. And then I have these three ladies here, this sort of row of lady heads. This, I want to say, was one of my first like really big pieces, which definitely I've gone bigger since then, but yeah, this was definitely out there for me at the time. And this was based on a drawing that someone had made. I said in my last video that I saw this drawing on Instagram and I took a screenshot of it, but I didn't include the name of the person who posted it. And for like ages I wanted to get a tattoo, but I didn't want to get it tattooed without knowing who the artist is. And then I was randomly at someone's house when I was at university for like pre-drinks, and the drawing hung on the wall, and it was their housemate who had drawn this. Then at the back of my arm here I have this little devil. This was done by Anna, my new tattoo artist, who I will I'll speak about in a bit, because basically all of my new tattoos since my tattoo tour have been done by her. I just love how the devil is like on the back of my arm, sort of like sat on my shoulder, you know, and it just also like perfectly filled out this sort of very awkward spot on my arm there. Then on the back of my elbow here I have this eye, which I had done very early on as well. I always forget it's there, to be honest. Like, no one ever really mentions it, and I don't know, I don't ever really notice it at all, but I love it. This sort of like back of the elbow placement is my absolute favorite. I think anything here looks great. Then moving on sort of to this area, ignore this stain. I had some welding done on my car yesterday, and this is the wax oil that was applied, and it's really hard to get off my skin. This area I am currently in the process of getting lasered. So I'm having this one removed, this moon thing, these leaves, and then these stars. This one was my very first tattoo I'd ever done when I was 18. This one was done by Chive, who's also done this shooting star, and then these two were done very early on as well. My main problem with these isn't like that I don't like them individually, it's that I don't like how they're all clustered together. Like, the placement of it is just so awkward that I would much rather, as you can see like with my other sort of tattoos, and you'll see on my legs as well, much rather would have like one big piece here. And I spoke to the tattoo artist at the studio that I now go to, and they've all agreed that it would be much easier to cover this if I had some of that black lifted out of it. So my goal isn't to entirely laser everything away for it to be like completely clean skin. I just want to get it to a point where my tattoo artist is able to cover it. I don't really know yet what I want to cover it with. I find it really hard to imagine what I can put there with things still being there. I'm kind of hoping as I get to a point where it's like less visible, I'll be able to figure out what exactly I want. You can actually see on this one that I originally had the flames filled out in red, and then I didn't like it and I had it covered up in black. So the red is now slowly kind of like coming through. I just remembered I've actually been keeping a list for all the like pain levels of my tattoos, so I could actually tell you, because I feel like you tend to forget. The first session was really painful, but it does also only take like 5 minutes, so I feel like any level of pain to me is doable for 5 minutes, in comparison to having like a big tattoo done for like 3 hours. That just gets really draining. It does get super bloody and super bruised as well. It will just be like really yellow afterwards. Then the second laser was a lot more painful than the first session, I think, because I was like, oh, I've done it again, I'll know what I'm doing. No, it hurt so bad. I feel like you have to kind of like hype yourself up a little bit before these things, and I definitely wasn't doing that enough. Then my third laser session, it was incredibly painful afterwards. I have experienced this with all of my laser sessions, is that I feel insanely nauseous the second I leave the studio. I think it's just your body just dropping all the adrenaline that it had sort of built up during your session, and then I'm just so overwhelmed. Like, I genuinely thought on my bus ride home that I was going to vomit. everywhere. And then my most recent session, the 4th session, it always helps when we're like really chatty. Like not every day both of us are going to be super chatty, but on the days we are, passes by much quicker. I'm able to relax a lot more. I also felt a lot less nauseous because I went to the laser session in the evening, which meant I had a whole day of food. I had dinner, I had a can of Coke beforehand, and it just meant like my body was able to handle it a lot better. I think I'm going to avoid any morning sessions from now on, just because my body's so unprepared for that level of pain. For the devil on my shoulder, actually, I just saw as well, I rated that at 2 out of 10. So this area for me wasn't painful at all. The color obviously hurts a bit because it's like really packing it in, but yeah, overall it wasn't bad. It's just kind of uncomfortable to like lay down a certain way and have it done. But arms in general I find aren't like painful at all. So then moving down the arm, on the back of my arm here I have this heart, which again I had done very early on, and I'm still obsessed with this. I think I was getting fairly like close to the American traditional style even at a much younger age, when I wasn't really thinking or planning to be covered in American traditional. But yeah, I just really love like these little flecks here and everything about it. It's just very cool. And then on the front of my arm we have the first tattoo that I had done by Anna. That I've done so much research into who I want to have my next tattoo by. I was very picky, very particular with the colours, with the style, and I wanted it to be a woman and it had to be somewhat close by. And I always find the best way to test out a tattoo artist is by just getting a piece of flash done. And I've wanted a boxer lady, it's been on my list for years and years, and she had one on her flash, so that was like the best thing to start with. And I am so obsessed with her. Like, just look at her little boots, the colour of it is amazing, the bow she has on, I am so obsessed with it. And I think this definitely for me solidified that I want to continue going to Anna to get tattooed. This is so good that I kept a list of pain, because I wouldn't have rated this very high, but I actually rated this in 8 out of 10, and I said that especially the last 30 minutes were super painful, so it obviously gets a lot bonier here. I also want to add, it was my first time at that tattoo studio, so I think probably my nerves were quite high and I didn't really know what to expect, so maybe I was also just a little bit unprepared, who knows. Funnily enough, actually, this dog with the little love letter in its mouth was the most recent one that I had done by Anna, and my last tattoo that I had done. Anna is currently on maternity leave, so this was the last one that I was able to squeeze in before she went. And yeah, it's just funny that those two are together. Again, for ages on my list I had written down that I wanted like a little love letter, almost like the apple emoji, but then I've kind of like grown out of that fine line style, so this was the perfect interpretation of something that I'd wanted for ages, and it fit so well in that gap. So I'd already had this, and I had the lady here, and then this just fit so well. I still have room to add like little decorative pieces here if I want to, and I rated this a 4 out of 10, and I just said it was like a little bit uncomfortable around like the edges, probably around here as well, but 4 out of 10 is totally doable. It's also quite small, and there isn't like a lot of color or anything. There's some shading and stuff, but yeah, the size itself isn't gonna be that painful. Then we get to my wrists, which are symmetrical on both hands. I had these done by Chive, who again did the shooting star up here, and these actually I think were like the deciding factor for me to want to get more tattoos. For some reason, having these done made me feel like tattooed, like a real tattooed person. They are just so lovely. I would say these are the ones that I get the most compliments on now, even though they are so small, but I guess they are in the most like visible area. They're kind of always peeking out, which I love. Again, I think I rated these a 4 out of 10. Surprisingly not as painful as people would think around these like bony areas, but then none of Chive's tattoos ever really hurt. Her needles are very thin, she's very gentle, so yeah, these weren't bad at all. They have, however, really made me want to get hand tattoos. Like, I'm super keen to get my hands done, but I want to sort my upper body out first. I feel like hands, in my eyes, very much like the last thing I'm gonna do. I might change my mind on that over the next year, who knows? But yeah, very keen to continue this on. I just love how even in the winter you're able to tell that I have tattoos there. Then moving back up to the other side of my other arm, I have my mermaid here. This was done by Aka. I want to say like 4 years ago now. And then I actually said in my last tattoo tour that I hadn't had it like touched up when I went. I didn't even really realize, I think at the time, that we're allowed to go back and touch your tattoos up if they sort of faded. So I actually went back to him sort of towards the end of last year, and he touched up all the little tattoos that the mermaid has, and also some of the sort of sections here. He left the hair, which I think it works quite well, just to let it fade out, and then her face is a little bit touched up, and he touched it up for me for free, even though I went back like 3 years later. He's like the loveliest guy ever. If you're in Norwich and you're into like black work, traditional stuff, then highly recommend his work. We do also have some matching tattoos. So she has this little flower here, and sort of this flower under her armpit, which I will show you shortly, but I also have that on me, so I just love that. Then on the back of this arm, I have these cowboy boots, which I don't love them as much. They're not my favorite, just because they feel kind of like Pinteresty, I don't know, like especially with the snake in it, but it's at the back of my arm. I never really see it, and it still kind of goes with the style, and I am planning to fill this area sort of to the back of my shoulder, and then it won't be as obvious anymore. It's definitely not one that I care enough to get covered up or lasered or anything, but it's very much like a sign of the time, this tattoo. Then we have my little cherry, again done by Chive, and I love her. I love how she's placed under the mermaid, and is red, and it's cute. That's all I have to say. Then on the back of my forearm, I have my panther. I drew this one myself, and then my boyfriend's friend is a tattoo artist, and he tattooed this on me. And yeah, I had a very specific vision. I really wanted to cover this whole area. I wanted the hearts in the panther. I wanted the hearts to be red. Again, I don't really see it that much, because like same with this one, I forget they're there because I don't like look at myself in the mirror like this, you know? But I think even with all my new sort of styles and stuff, I think it still fits in really, really well. And then we have 3 on my forearm. The first 2 I want to say that I did was this lady here, which is kind of like wrapped, but Anna wrapped her so well that she looks good from any and all angles, and like all the details and stuff of her eyeshadow and just her hair, her little like blush is so cute. This is definitely like my new favorite, I want to say. I'm obsessed with looking at her. I love that she's right there. And then I also got my pit done. I didn't know that I was going to do my pit on the day. Like I knew I wanted these 2 things, and I'm now at a point with Anna where I don't really think about placement anymore. I just go in and will figure out where it can go on my body, unless I have like a rough idea. Apart from like I knew that I roughly wanted these on my arm, but I didn't know where. It just fit so perfectly into my armpit here. Not armpit, I keep saying armpit, into my ditch, that I realized, shit, I did not hype myself up enough for the pain that I'm going to endure. This was not the worst tattoo I've had done ever. Pain wise, it really wasn't that bad. And I had this one done on the same day as this, so this section all in one day, which now looking back is actually like a little bit insane. But the lady head I rated a 4 out of 10. So again, not painful at all. Weirdly, this one was more painful. Yeah, it just kind of depends on the day really, I think, how your pain levels are. I think I said it hurt at the wrist, so this area was definitely the most painful. But yeah, otherwise I didn't feel anything really for this one. And then for the Sacred Heart, I said the lines were 4 out of 10. So even when she was doing the lines in the ditch, it didn't hurt that bad. It was the same as this, all continuously. So she'd do the lines all in one, shading all in one, and then she'd do the colour. Shading and colour, I rated a 7 out of 10. For the colour, I noted down that I was kind of just numb at that point, and I was freezing. I remember it was so cold in the studio, but I think also your body as a shock response starts shivering. Like I was literally like, so I think it was just a shock response. So it definitely, maybe like pain wise I didn't feel it, but my body was definitely like, what on earth is going on? But I was also reading, I think, on my Kindle majority of the time, so again I was distracting myself a lot, and yeah, it wasn't that bad. I was a little bit worried about having so much coverage. Like I think everything else is sort of spaced out, whereas these are very much like covering a lot. I'm obsessed with it. Now all I can see honestly is this gap. I need to have this filled out, but yeah, I'm just obsessed with this whole area now. Then before we move down to my legs, I'll show you my upper body ones. This is actually when nothing has changed at all since last time, because I said in my last video, upper body, like stomach, for me, the most painful area, and I'm not quite ready yet. I do want to get my stomach, especially, I want to get it covered. I would like something to blend in with this piece that I never finished, and to kind of do something on the other side maybe. But yeah, I'm still not quite sure, because basically I have this like rib piece. It's really hard to show you, I have to kind of show it in sections, but yeah, I have this rib piece which I had done by Diggler here in Norwich, and the plan originally was to do this on that side and sort of asymmetrically mirror it on the other side. It was so painful and it was so traumatizing that I didn't actually finish this, so I tapped out, or he told me to stop basically at this point, because it just hurt so much. And again, that's why I'm worried about getting my stomach done, because this is where it just got too much. Like, it was so painful. I do wonder if I am sort of building up a little bit too much in my head, because it's such a long time ago. I don't really remember what the pain was like. If I hadn't like done all of this before moving on to the stomach, maybe I could have stomached the stomach, I don't know. But yeah, this was just like a lot of black lines, thick lines, going over the same sections like over and over again, and I left just so drained. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this section. I do love how this is like framing a lot of my tops and sometimes like peeking out. Same with this, which is making me think I do want my stomach done, because I love when the little leaves are coming out. I also have this snake done on my sternum, and the colours actually, like, this last year has really started to fall out. I can't figure out why that is happening. I actually spoke to Anna about getting this covered up, so I think once I figure out what I want to do with my stomach, I'll sort of integrate this, and I can imagine kind of like covering this with, I don't know, flowers or something, and having it snake up here, like not fully on my chest, but just like a little bit. I think that could look quite cool, but I just want to make like the right decision and make everything like make sense with each other. Then we get to my back piece, which was done like 3 years ago now, I think, in Norwich by Sunny, and I love my back tattoo so much. I think like pain wise, I can't really remember that well, to be honest. I was expecting it to be like just as bad, if not worse, than my ribs, but it actually wasn't. It was a lot more manageable, and I went in 3 different sections. So I told them how much I struggled with my ribs, and so I just went for like 3-hour sessions, I want to say, plus like a couple touch-up sessions. At the time I still wasn't really into that much colour, so again I'm kind of just going for the red heart and everything else is black and grey. Maybe if I were to do a back tattoo now, I would go for colour, but I don't regret it. I think it looks fine as is, and I am really keen to fill in this space here, and I can do something like really colourful maybe here. I have absolutely no idea what I would get. Like, I have a lot of room to play with. It has to be something like horizontal, whereas like all of my tattoos, like when you think about limbs, they're long, so I can only think of like long things. But until I like know what I want, I'm not gonna worry about that placement or rush it at all. Right, okay, we can move on to legs, and I'll start off with my thighs. The first one I had done on my thighs was actually this wolf, which was also done by Sonny, and pain wise, this sucked. I did not think or expect thighs to hurt as much as they do, but yeah, this one took me out. I rate this like a 9 out of 10. Like, I at multiple times felt like I wanted to tap out. So a 10 for me is like, I need to finish, I can't do this anymore. And I was really close to saying that. It's very like packed with black around here, so I'm not surprised it hurt that much. It took ages to heal. It got really like snake skin-esque for many weeks, and it only properly healed like 2 months maybe after getting it. So that was really strange, very unexpected healing journey. I have this one on the other side, which was done by Anna, and it's this man falling off a horse and his hat's falling off. I was really preparing for the worst with this one, since this one sucked so much. But it was actually only 3 out of 10. Explain to me how that works. This was only a 3 out of 10. The last bit of the colour maybe hurt a little bit. It took like 3.5 hours. And I just want to come back to the point that I made in my last video about men being so rough, and this is the perfect example. Granted, there isn't as much like black ink packed into one area. So that obviously can definitely make like an impact, but just strange that this didn't hurt as much. Coincidence? I don't know if it is. Then on my knee here, I have this floral daisy chain, and I also have these 3 stars, which were all done by Chive. Again, she just does these like little ornamental pieces really, really well. And for the longest times, these were the only leg tattoos that I had, and I absolutely loved how they looked, just like the 2 of them together. Also, even though my style has sort of like moved along, I don't think I'll ever cover them up. I'm just gonna work around them with something here maybe, but I love them. I think it just breaks up everything being one style. On the back of my thighs, I have nothing, and it has really bothered me this summer, so I am probably going to work on this next because it just looks so empty. But I have a lot of respect for those areas. I think they're gonna suck. Moving all the way down, we have the dagger on this shin. I had this done in Germany by Kim, and this took like an hour and a half. I rated it a 5 out of 10. Which is obviously like, it hurts. Like, all tattoos hurt, don't get me wrong. Like, a 0 is like no pain, you know? So that doesn't exist to me when you get a tattoo. So 5 is like halfway, like it hurts. I'd rather not be doing it, but it is fine. And if it only takes like an hour or an hour and a half, I don't mind, it's fine. This one, weirdly, actually, is the most complimented on by all tattoo artists I have been to since getting this. Every single person who I've been to, Chive, Sonny, Anna, everyone in Anna's studio has commented on how well this has been done and shaded. And I am gonna be completely honest with you, I had no idea. Like, this to me looks like a really cool tattoo, like I love it, but I'm surprised that this is the one that stands out to everyone. And I did actually have to get used to that for a while. I had this one done after this one because I felt so out of sync and just like lopsided. Having this it's a very like aggressive tattoo, I guess. But now that I've had a bit more done, I do think it works great in that placement. So yeah, it just took like a little bit of getting used to. Then on the other shin, kind of more towards the top, I have this floral piece, which was again done by Anna. Originally, I really wanted this to wrap around my knee, but the placement just kind of worked a lot better there. I still kind of wish I went like one more leaf or like stalk that went around here. Possibly I could get Anna to add it, but for now I'm just gonna leave it. I don't want to rush into anything. This one took about 4 hours and I rated this a 6 out of 10. I was expecting 10 out of 10 because I was preparing for knee, but luckily we only went below. But yeah, it definitely sucks when you get to this area, I can't lie. And then I only have 2 left, and they are at the back of my calf. The first one I had done, which one was it? I always get this wrong. I think, yeah, the first one I had done was this one? No, wrong. First one I had done was this one. And I had heard that calves suck. And yeah, they do. This one took like 4 hours again. I rated this an 8 out of 10. So we're getting really, really close to the top pain level. For the last 30 minutes of this, I genuinely thought I was going to tap out. The only reason why I didn't was because I knew we were coming to the end. But yeah, this sucks. Like, it hurts just everywhere. Everything hurts. So twitchy. So painful. I hate the calves. I did, however, still had the other calf done a while later. Again, didn't want to go for the fully symmetrical look. I went for like slightly asymmetrical. This one was 7 out of 10, so a little bit less painful. It also took an hour less, so only 3 hours. So probably that was what contributed to my pain level. Again, it was just so pinchy on all the upper sides, but I do think it has like slightly less color. So she wasn't like going over it as much as the other side, hence maybe why it didn't hurt as much. But yeah, not fun at all, which is why I'm worried about these sides, because like, how do people get the ditches done here? That's just so painful. And then one more actually on here. Can't forget about my little, well, not so little actually, she takes up a lot of room, but my cowgirl, again 8 out of 10. We're kind of breaching the calf here, so that kind of, yeah, did really hurt, I can't lie. But I was super keen to just start having some of these side bits covered. I obviously still have this side as well, and this. Yeah, legs definitely still got a long way to go. I'm gonna go like up here as well. Besides, just this whole area needs to be done. I want more, really. I think about tattoos all the time. And I think it's going to be dangerous when Anna's back from maternity leave, because I will just be getting covered for the rest of the autumn, winter time until spring again. I think it's good to take a break over the summer months because you don't have to worry about healing them, getting sunburn, getting tan when you shouldn't be. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention this little horseshoe. We did this as a gap filler What did I rate this? 3 out of 10, 3 hours, not painful at all. Again, it fits in so well, it blends in really nicely with these pieces. And yeah, I just had this gap that really annoyed me, so that's there as well. I don't know why I forgot, but yeah, that's all my tattoos. I'm really glad that I started documenting this, because this time next year, who knows how much more covered I'm gonna be. My goal is more on the legs, possibly finish my arms, like this area, maybe get this covered. I don't know if I'll be ready. I think it will take like another year possibly to have this lasered. I don't think I'm ready yet to start my upper body. I think that'll be next year issue, until I have no room to fill other than my upper body, and then I'm gonna be forced to do it. That is my my strategy at the moment. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.